9. You're now with the Forerunner Chronicles, and right now we're out in LA, out at Warner Brothers Studios in Angus Jones' trailer, Angus Jones of 2.5 Men, and he's got a pretty awesome testimony to share with us. And as I said this before, this is really, I accept this brother as my brother for real, because he's accepted the 7th day as God's holy Sabbath day, and just a whole lot more than what I've just told you. But thanks for doing this testimony with me, first off.
Hey, well, thanks, man, for having me. It's, you know, it's awesome being here.
Definitely. And all right, just tell everybody a little about. Just let them know.
All right. Well, I'm Angus. I was born in Austin, Texas, and when I was about four or so, my family and I moved out here to California because my dad was going to start working for his uncle. And you know, being in California, my mom just decided, hey, let's go try and do the acting thing. And you know, it was one of those things that was totally random. It wasn't anything that I was like, I wanted to be an actor. I was 4.5. I didn't know anything, and I hadn't taken any acting classes or anything like that. We just went to some auditions for commercials, and I ended up getting the first few commercials that I auditioned for. And it just kind of continued to go from there, and I was doing commercials, and I started doing movies, and when I was 9, I was offered the job here on 2.5 Men, and all the time, like when I first started going to school, when we first moved to Ontario, Ontario, California, right. I lived down the street from a church, and that's like the preschool that I went to, is the preschool at that church. And then when I moved up to kindergarten, I went to Upland Christian School, non-denominational Christian school. I think it's non-denominational. And that was always something that was important to my parents, that I was at a regular school while at the same time, you know, pursuing the acting, I guess. You know, their idea originally was just, you know, put some money away for college and things like that. And so what I would do is the teachers at my school would send the work to my teachers on set, and then whenever I'd go back to school, I'd be right on with the students, you know, basically being a regular kid with a really irregular job. And if you want to call it a job, we can talk about that later. And so about, you know, going to a Christian school, it was always, you know, every year you had to take a Bible class, and you more or less you kind of reiterate a lot of the same stuff over the years. And you know, I knew basic stuff, stories of Jesus. You know, I knew really basics, and we would do Bible verses and all sorts of stuff like that. And when I was in kindergarten, I remember saying the prayer to accept Jesus into my heart during like the weekly chapel service at our school. And but God and the Bible and Christianity was always just something that was at my school. We didn't go to church Sundays. Very rarely, if it was Easter, we would go with family. Right. And we didn't, you know, pray before dinner. We didn't read the Bible at home together. It was just Bible. I had a Bible class at school. Right. And before my junior year in high school, one of my cousins, Jordan, introduced me into weed. Started smoking weed, and you know, when just like through all my junior year, you know, it was just like that was my time became more spent on being with friends, and as not dealing with family issues as much as I could, and you know, devoting my time to, you know, I like video games, friends, and music. And then the summer of my senior year, I started doing acid, And I was pretty one of the stereotypical, like, this drug could change the world. Like, if this was legal, like, everyone would be different.
Right.
You know, I was that guy. I was kind of being a little bit material. I liked, I got a nice car. I have so many speeding tickets. Thank God, though, I never got in an accident. I bought some stuff so that I could have, like, a cool recording setup in my room, and you know, I like taking photos, doing all this, you know, kind of artsy stuff, and just kind of doing things, just like, because I don't know, and I was unaware of it, but I was just kind of on a downward trend, just kind of doing, like, I don't know, living for myself, really not concerning myself with family, with anything outside of what was helping me out. I wasn't using what I had been given to help others really to an extent. You know, I did kind of like the I'll say stereotypical, and this one is stereotypical, like, celebrity, throw some money at a cause and they give you some kind of recognition.
Right.
It's bad. And I mean, you know, I would help out. I did some stuff for St. Jude's Children's Hospital and things like that, but it never really felt important to me. I always just, like, it was always one of those things that was almost, it was a little bit foreign to me. I don't know how to describe it other than that. December 27th of this last year, a friend of mine and I were talking about future plans for, like, business ideas we had and things we thought we were gonna do.
I remember you talking about maybe doing some type of thing with art or something like that.
Yeah, it was gonna be, you know, some kind of artist group. It's some way we didn't really know. We had a lot of ideas.
All right.
But we were just talking about, like, what was gonna be, like, what was kind of gonna be the slogan, or what would we write on if we were gonna have clothes, like, what would our theme kind of be, stuff like that,
right.
You know. And I had said that, you know, God's definitely gonna be God's definitely a part of this, and it was like kind of hit me in a weird way. I was like, no, God is the center of all this. God is the reason for all this. And right when I had said that, I just had this feeling, this, like, of warmth, acceptance, love. Like, I can't even. It's one of those things that the best way I can describe it is being hugged by your most favorite person ever, but their hug, like, they're able to hug every single part of your being, and it was just one of those things that I sat there and I told him, I was like, man, I just feel like I accepted God. I feel like I just accepted God in my life. And that was like, kind of, I guess, like, one of the steps toward my change of lifestyle, of life. And, you know, my cousin Jordan, the same cousin that I first started smoking weed with, he had been woken up by God in almost a similar fashion that I had been a few months before. So I had been talking to him recently about when it came to God and the celebrity, the Angus Jones celebrity. Like, would it be possible to create a celebrity status that made God appealing to people?
Right.
And we were just discussing that, and so that was kind of during that January. That was kind of where I was more in my mind, what I was thinking about.
Pretty much considering what direction you're going to go with everything at this point.
Yeah. Then January 22nd, it was a Saturday night. Another friend of mine, John Pena, and I were actually in this room talking, and at the time I didn't know whether or not I was going to do the show, or if I was going to go to college, or if I was going to do neither. And I had asked him what he thought about doing the show, if he would do it if he was in my position. He said simply for the money he would do it, because, you know, his family was struggling, and and that's just like that.
But basically, he pretty much told you to compromise.
Yeah. He said basically, you know, he would do it. it because of the money, because of his situation that he was in with his family.
Right.
My friend John, you know, is the friend that his family was struggling. They were in positions to maybe lose their house, lose their vehicles, things like his family was going through some hard time, and he said simply for the money he would do that because he'd be able to help out his family in a very serious way. And that hit me in an interesting way because, you know, my friend John is he's an extremely talented guitarist, but he doesn't even have an amp to play his electric guitar through. So that just kind of was like, wow, look at me, I'm sitting here in this room. I have dusty equipment. I have very nice things just sitting around like they're food or what, you know, like it's nothing. And that just kind of made me like, just like, wow, I'm really a loser. And I had told John, we were talking about the concept of you know, if I was to do the show again, I could try and be a witness for God almost through just kind of being in the public's eye, or like in a celebrity almost way, you know.
Right.
Still be who I was in a sense, but
still continue to be like Jake on 2.5 Men.
Exactly.
But now a servant of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was asking me these questions. He's like, well, if you're going to do that, he was just asking me questions about my life that were just like, well, yeah, I'd have to change that. Well, yeah, I'd have to change that. Well, yeah, I'd have to change that. Well, yeah, you have to, yeah. And it was just like one thing after another. He was asking me these questions that were just, you know, he wasn't trying to pick me apart, but right. He was breaking me down. And you know, I realized that it wasn't my friend John Pena he wasn't the one thinking of the questions. It wasn't him. Like it had to have been God, the Holy Spirit, something talking through him to let me know that the position that I was in was not where I needed to be for where God wanted me to be.
Right.
And I was like, all right, you know, I woke up the next day and I was like, all right, God, what can we do today? Like, show me what I need to do, how to do it, who I can help, who I can tell about you. And I did some research on the internet, and, you know, and it kind of came to do's and don'ts and things like that. And I went to school the next week, and it was an excellent week. I was everybody's friend. I was just trying to, do what I could for any, I was doing better in school, focusing on my schoolwork, especially the Bible class and stuff like that, focusing on my study. And then basically the next weekend, I was in the same exact position. I was in the same exact sins that I was in the weekend before, and it was just like one of those things that I was like, God spoke to me last weekend, and I'm sitting here in the same exact position. Like, I was the person, like, God told me it personally, basically, that he wanted me to get it together, and I've already failed. It was just one of those things that it really frustrated me, and